So, welcome back for another deep dive. And today we're going to look at something a little different.
Oh.
Yeah. So, we're always talking about hotels and destinations.
Right.
But this time we're going to kind of peek behind the curtain, so to speak, of the marketing for a service department.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's called Garden East Service Departments.
Okay.
In Wan Chai, Hong Kong. And, we're not just looking at any old marketing material here. We've got stuff straight from Move and Stay, which, if you're not familiar, they've been helping expats and business travelers in Asia find a place to stay for over 25 years now. So they've seen it all. Right?
Yeah, they'd be the experts for sure.
Exactly. So we're kind of going to the expert's take on an expert's pitch, basically.
Okay, a meta-analysis.
Yes, something like that, right?
Right.
And so going through this material, the first thing that really jumped out at me was just how many times they talk about comfort and convenience. Yeah. Isn't that what every service department promises?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's practically a cliche at this point.
Right. So what makes Garden East think they're so special? What are they really trying to say here?
Well, that's the thing, right? We got to see how they actually try to back it up,
Yeah.
It's easy to say comfort, but do they deliver?
Okay, so how do they? Give me the goods.
Well, take, for example, the fact that they highlight that every single unit, not just the suites or anything, has a private balcony.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's not super common in Hong Kong, especially not in, dense areas like Wan Chai.
Oh, yeah, space is at a premium there.
Exactly. So if you're coming from somewhere where a balcony is just kind of expected, that might not seem like a big deal.
Yeah, you just assume every place has one.
Right. But in Hong Kong, that actually IS comfort, You get your own little slice of outdoor space.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that's true. It would be like a breath of fresh air, literally, in a city like that.
Exactly. So they're playing up that angle, for sure.
Okay, so they're going for a relaxed vibe then.
Well, that's where it gets interesting because they also spend a lot of time talking about Wan Chai's energy.
Oh, yeah, the nightlife, the food scene, all that.
All of that, yeah. And it's not that that's inaccurate.
Right.
Wan Chai does have that, but it also has kind of a
reputation.
Yeah, let's say colorful history.
More than colorful, I'd say. It wasn't exactly known for being, peaceful and quiet.
Well, yeah, you've got the whole red light district thing back in the day.
Exactly. So how do they reconcile that with this whole comfort and convenience thing?
I think what they're doing is they're very deliberately leaning into the modern upscale Wan Chai.
Like the new Wan Chai.
Exactly.
Right.
They want to attract a different crowd, one that's maybe not looking for, shall we say, the old Wan Chai experience.
So it's all about carefully curating the image then?
I'd say so. They're playing up the parts that fit their narrative.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together. It's a balancing act.
Definitely.
And speaking of balancing acts,
Yeah.
they also go on and on about transportation.
Oh, yeah. MTR, buses, trams, the whole shebang.
Is that really necessary, though? I mean, isn't Hong Kong known for its amazing public transportation?
Oh, absolutely. But think about it from the perspective of, say, someone who's never been to Hong Kong before.
Okay, yeah.
The MTR is fantastic, but it can be a little overwhelming at first, figuring out the lines, the octopus card, all that.
Right.
So for someone who's new to the city,
Yeah.
highlighting how easy it is to get around from Garden East, that takes away a potential stress point. It becomes a selling point.
Okay, yeah, peace of mind. That makes sense.
Exactly. They're anticipating the needs of their target audience, which, by the way, seems to be anyone from short-term business travelers to, folks relocating for longer periods.
Right, because they mentioned everything from studios to executive suites. So
Yeah. Exactly. They're casting a wide net. And another thing that stood out to me in that section about the apartments was that they mentioned, almost casually, that every unit has a washer dryer.
Oh, yeah, and free Wi-Fi, too.
Right. And that might seem like a given.
You'd think so? Yeah.
But you'd be surprised how many service departments, even supposedly fancy ones, skimp on those basics, especially the laundry.
So that's actually a big deal.
It is, especially if you're staying for more than a few days, which they seem to be encouraging with the whole flexible lease terms thing.
Okay, so they want people to feel like they can really settle in, even if it's just for a little while.
Yeah, like it's a home away from home, not just a place to crash for a night or two.
And then to really hammer that home, they bring out the big guns.
Oh, what's that?
The rooftop garden.
Yeah.
With BBQ facilities.
All right, that IS pretty fancy.
Okay, that's not something you see every day, even in super high-end apartments.
No, not at all. And it goes beyond just providing a space,
What do you mean?
They're trying to sell a lifestyle here. They're saying, hey, if you live at Garden East, you can have friends over, grill out, enjoy these amazing city views.
Painting a picture, yeah.
Exactly. And it's targeting a very specific type of resident, someone who's social, enjoys being outdoors, wants that kind of community feel.
Okay, so it's all very deliberate, very strategic.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just random stuff they threw in there. They've thought this through.
But is it really luxurious, though? Or is it just good marketing? I mean, a rooftop garden in Wan Chai.
Well, that's where the location comes back into play, right? In a city like Hong Kong, where space is so limited, any kind of outdoor space, especially one that's well-maintained, communal, like they describe, that becomes a luxury. And in Wan Chai, with that mix of business and, let's say, entertainment, it becomes even more appealing, right? You can have your peace and quiet up there, away from the hustle and bustle.
I see. So they're really playing up all the angles then.
Oh, yeah. They're hitting all the right notes. But here's something else that caught my eye. They keep mentioning flexible lease terms.
Honestly, isn't that pretty standard for service departments?
Well, you'd think so, but it's worth digging a little deeper.
Okay, how so?
Because you see, some service departments, they really focus on like the short-term stay market, business trips, tourists who want a bit more space than a hotel room.
Right.
While others, they gear themselves more towards longer-term rentals.
Almost like regular apartments then.
Ew, exactly. But what's interesting about Garden East, from what I'm seeing here, is they seem to want to appeal to both.
Oh, okay.
They're not limiting themselves. They're saying, hey, whether you're here for a week, a month, a year, we've got you covered.
So they're playing the field, being flexible?
Exactly. It broadens their appeal, and it goes hand in hand with that whole convenience thing they keep mentioning.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But speaking of things that appeal, what about these exclusive resident facilities they keep going on about?
Ah, yes, the perks. Well, we've got the rooftop garden, of course. That's the big one.
Yeah, but they also mention like a state-of-the-art gymnasium and a multifunction room. Is that just marketing fluff, or is there something actually special there?
Well, it's easy to be cynical, right? And sure, they're definitely using some buzzwords.
Right.
But think about it from the perspective of someone who's, say, relocating to Hong Kong for work.
Okay.
Maybe their company is putting them up in Garden East, having those extra amenities, even if they're not, super fancy.
Yeah.
It makes the transition easier. It's one less thing to worry about, You don't have to go find a gym, a place to meet people.
I see your point. It's about that whole home away from home feeling again.
Exactly. It's about creating a sense of community, of belonging. But I am curious about the specifics, though.
Oh, yeah. Like, what does state-of-the-art gymnasium actually mean? Is it just 2 treadmills and a yoga mat? Or...
Oh, right. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's telling, I think, that they don't go into too much detail.
You think so?
Yeah, if they had some amazing top-of-the-line gym, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops, wouldn't they? So my guess is it's probably decent, functional, but maybe not something that's going to blow your mind,
Okay, so temper your expectations, basically.
Exactly. And the same goes for that multifunction room.
Oh, yeah. What is that, anyway? Just a fancy name for a conference room.
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but I'm intrigued by the fact that they mention it can be used for both work and meetings.
Okay.
So maybe it's a bit more flexible than your average conference room, Maybe it can be configured for different purposes, presentations, small gatherings, or even just a quiet space to work.
Oh, like a co-working space almost?
Yeah, something like that. And that would make a lot of sense, considering they seem to be targeting digital nomads and business travelers.
Right. Those folks need a place to get things done.
Absolutely. A change of scenery can do wonders for productivity, And speaking of getting things done, let's get back to the apartments themselves for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
They mention fully equipped kitchens, which, okay, that's kind of expected in a service department.
Right, it's not just a hotel room.
Exactly. But then they go on to highlight things like modern stovetops and essential cookware, and I think that's interesting.
Why?
Because it suggests they're trying to appeal to people who actually want to cook, even if it's just a short stay.
Like they're not just assuming everyone's going to eat out every night.
Right. They're saying, hey, you can actually live a normal life here, cook your own meals, save some money.
So it's another way of reinforcing that whole home away from home idea.
Exactly. It's those little details that can make a difference,
Yeah, I'm starting to see that. And then they mentioned split type air conditioning with heating, which, in Hong Kong, that's going to be standard, right?
Oh, it is. It is. But it's still smart to mention it explicitly, I think. because they're emphasizing year-round comfort,
Oh.
Hong Kong can get pretty hot and humid, but it can also get surprisingly chilly in the winter.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So having reliable climate control,
Well,
that's key. It's like they're saying, look, we've thought of everything to make your stay as pleasant as possible, no matter what the weather throws at you.
okay, yeah, I see that. They're trying to anticipate those concerns.
Exactly. And they also highlight their high standards of safety and hygiene, which, especially these
Yeah,
days,
it's important.
it's a must. They're addressing those concerns head on, building trust with potential residents.
Right, especially for someone who's new to the city, that peace of mind can be priceless.
Absolutely. And they're smart to emphasize that because it's something that can easily be overlooked,
Mm-hmm.
You just assume a place is going to be safe and clean, but it's good to have that reassurance.
Okay, so we've covered the apartments, the facilities, but they also spend a lot of time talking about the location, and not just the Wan Chai stuff.
Oh, right. They mentioned being close to Causeway Bay and Central.
Yeah, those are like major hubs, right? Business, shopping, everything.
Exactly. So what they're doing there, I think, is they're targeting people who want to be in the heart of the action. Causeway Bay, that's all about shopping, entertainment, while Central is the financial district, the skyscrapers,
Yeah, yeah.
So being close to both of those,
Uh-huh.
it means you're connected, you have easy access to everything Hong Kong has to offer. They're selling that lifestyle, that convenience again.
Right, it all ties back to that.
Hmm.
But then they throw in this line about blending convenience with the thrill of discovery.
Oh, I saw that.
What do they even mean by that?
I think they're trying to capture a certain type of traveler or resident,
Okay, who's that?
Someone who wants the best of both worlds. They want the ease and familiarity of a central location,
Right.
but they also want the excitement of exploring a new city, finding those hidden gems, those little local spots.
So they're not just offering a place to stay, they're offering an experience.
Exactly. And that's a powerful message, especially for someone who's maybe a little hesitant about moving to a new city.
Yeah, it takes away some of the fear, the unknown.
Right. They're saying, hey, come stay with us, and we'll help you make the most of your time here.
Okay, I like that. It's enticing. But there's one thing I haven't seen them mention at all.
What's that?
The price. Like, how much does it actually cost to live at Garden East? They're not exactly upfront about that, are they?
Well, that's classic marketing, isn't it? Sell the dream first, worry about the practicalities later.
I guess so.
Hmm.
But based on everything we've seen, the location, the amenities, who they're targeting,
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not exactly budget friendly.
No, I'd say it's safe to assume they're aiming for a premium price point. Professionals, expats, people who can afford a certain level of comfort and convenience.
Yeah. Right, not exactly the backpacker crowd.
No, definitely not. They're going for a more discerning clientele, people who value those extras, the lifestyle they're selling.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm still left wondering,
Yeah.
does it all live up to the hype? Is it really a serene retreat amidst urban excitement, or is that just clever wording?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And unfortunately, it's not one we can answer just from reading marketing material.
So what do we do? How do we find out?
We got to go beyond the marketing, dig a little deeper.
Okay, so where do we start? Like, what's the next step?
Well, we've got Move and Stay here, right? They've been doing this for, over 25 years?
Yeah, they're the veterans.
Exactly. So they would probably tell us to, not just take their word for it.
Right, do our own research?
Exactly. See what other people are saying.
Like, where do we look for that?
Online reviews. That's always a good starting point.
Okay, so see what actual residents, past guests have to say about Garden East.
Right. Did they find it comfortable, convenient, like the marketing says? Did that rooftop garden live up to the hype? Was the staff helpful? All those little details that you don't always get from, a brochure.
Yeah, reading between the lines, basically.
Exactly. And you can also get a sense of things they might not mention in the marketing, like,
Oh, like what?
noise levels, for example.
Oh, right, because they say it's in the heart of Wan Chai.
Yeah, but they don't say if that means you're going to hear traffic all night or people partying.
So reviews can give you a more realistic picture, then.
Definitely. It's like getting an insider's perspective, They can tell you if the gym is actually any good, if the internet is reliable, all that stuff.
Okay, so reviews are helpful, but can we go even further than that? Like, can we actually see the place?
Oh, absolutely. If you're seriously considering Garden East,
Yeah.
reach out to them directly. See if they offer virtual tours or even in-person visits.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because there's no substitute for seeing it with your own eyes, right? A virtual tour can give you a sense of the layout, the overall vibe.
Yeah.
But an in-person visit that lets you check out the neighborhood, see how close those MTR stations really are.
And maybe even sneak a peek at that rooftop garden.
Exactly. Plus, you can ask specific questions, things that are important to you.
Right, like what's the internet speed like? Is there a quiet space to work?
Exactly. Things that can make or break your experience, especially if you're staying for a while.
So it's all about being proactive, not just taking the marketing at face value.
Right. Do your own research, ask questions, trust your gut.
Oh, trust your gut. That's important.
It is. If something feels off, if the reviews seem too good to be true, or if the management is being evasive,
Yeah.
those are red flags. It's like dating,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Oh, I see what you mean. Sometimes you just get a bad feeling.
Exactly. And finding the right place to live, whether it's for a short trip or a longer relocation,
Yeah.
it's a big decision. So don't let the marketing sway you too much. Use this deep dive as a starting point, do your own digging, and then make a choice that feels right for you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Garden East, I'm left with one final thought, something I want our listeners to really ponder.
Okay, I'm listening.
We've been focusing on this specific service department, right?
Right.
But there's a bigger lesson here, I think. It's about approaching any kind of persuasive message, whether it's for a product, a service, even a political campaign.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
With a critical eye. Don't just take things at face value.
Right.
Question everything.
Exactly. Ask questions, dig deeper, and always consider the source. Who's trying to persuade you and why?
That's so important, especially these days, with so much information coming at us from all directions.
It can be overwhelming, but that's why it's crucial to be informed, to be discerning.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power.
And on that note, we'll leave you to your own research and reflections. Happy deep diving, everyone.
Until next time.